I was born in Newton, Mass, June 27th, 1923.
When did you start playing music?
This kind of music or just any old kind?
Any old kind.
Well, the music thing with me has always been, I've always been a music person. My father certainly was a music person. His sister was. Her kids, my cousins, were very musical too. So I bought actually, I can't remember when I bought my first accordion. No, I bought it on the farm. I bought it on the farm, so it was before I went into the service, before World War II. So I was playing the accordion then. I was going to Ralph Page's dances over near in Peterborough, and another dance in Francistown with a different caller. But anyway, I was listening to the tunes and trying to play them at home on this accordion that I got for Christmas. And so I just got into the business, and then later on one time I asked Ralph if I could sit in with his orchestra, and he said, yes, bring it next week, which I did, and had a blast playing with his band, and they just lost a musician, so he had a slot. And so could I play? He said, if you want to be a member of my band, you come next week, you're hired. I came home from the service and got back on the farm, and I knew some people in the next town, Francistown. And they said to me, this is nice coming up in the summertime. They said, come on to a square dance over in Francistown. I said, sure. And they had a cute sister, which I liked pretty well. And so anyway, I went over to the dance and I had a blast. I really enjoyed it. So that's how I got into it. I just kept going.
I was talking to Sarah Bowen
just
a few days ago about the dance scene when she first started going with you. But she was talking about how she remembers the dances being a real occasion for socializing, that people,
so they were.
Young folks would go to meet each other there.
Sure, oh sure. I met my wife at the Peterborough dance. Sure, that's where I met Priscilla. That's a very social thing.
So you started with the accordion.
Yep.
But then you moved on to the piano.
Yeah.
What's that story? What's behind there?
That's hard to say. I used to mess around with the piano some, and then I would try to chord little tunes, not necessarily these kinds of tunes, but just little tunes, folky tunes that are in everybody's folk song collection, of the time, the 40s. And I used to try to play and back them on the piano, and I would sing sometimes along with the thing. And I just gradually got to where I could back up the things, and that's how it all started.
But now, go ahead. Well, there was this person you talk about from time to time, Mr. Trombley.
Johnny Trombley? Oh, sure. Well, he was Ralph Page's piano player. He's the one that's got me going with this business. He passed away while I was I actually went back into the service again and in the 50s. And when I got back, he had passed away, and Ralph's band was no longer working. And so he was the one that showed me what I call Johnny's move that we saw earlier. And so he just inspired me to play the piano and do it the right way, and I've been doing it ever since.
Can you talk a little bit? I was real interested in what you were saying, and I've heard you say something about it before, about that you can't play a piano too loud.
I've had many dancers come to me and tell me about the fact that they can't hear the beat on the floor. It spoils their dancing. And they say nice things about the fact that I do provide the beat on the floor that they can hear. It's satisfying to me. My style of playing the piano is called boom chuck. That's not exactly a technical term. Perhaps it's only a slang term. If there is another term for this, vamping, I guess, is probably the technical term for it. Vamp style, vamping is what I do. But I like boom chuck. That pretty well describes what to do. The left hand does the boom, and the right hand makes the chord, and we call that the chuck. And it's not a praiseworthy name, but it works. That's what Johnny Trombley did. When he would go play for somebody else, not Ralph on a given Saturday night. He played with some different band in some other part of the area. And if we hear Johnny's going to be down to Fitchburg or some place, we'd all jump in our cars and go to that particular dance. We didn't know who the band was or who the caller was, but Johnny was playing piano. And because he was on the piano, we knew that the music was going to be worth dancing to. His style gave us the beat that we needed, and it was wonderful. The rhythmic, solid, steady beat that you could, I call it, hook your feet to and dancing to. So it really made it work. This is my take on the thing. This is what I do these days. This is what I have always done. And I do provide a good, sound, steady beat. Maybe too loud, I don't know. But I ask sometimes, am I too loud? And they come back and they say, no, you're not too loud. So that's my best answer. I've had musicians once in a while telling me I'm too loud. I had somebody once call me Old Thunder Thumbs. But the same person that called me Old Thunder Thumbs is a person that likes these days to have me come and play backup piano for that particular fiddler, and that's a very pleasing thing. So anyway, it's I think that was more in jest than it was in sincerity. But anyhow, I do go along with this solid, steady beat. And these kids here that are playing, Sophie and Russell and now Neil, and I got some others in the hopper that are doing the same thing too, and I got them out there with this, setting out this same beat, Johnny's beat, on the floor. If Johnny hadn't showed me what he showed me and given me a start, and if Ralph Page hadn't hired me into his band, none of this would happen, none of it. I'm the most grateful man you've ever talked to in all the world. I'm a very lucky, lucky man.
You folks that play this kind of music, what's called contra dance music.
Yeah. You want a good name for it? Excuse me.
That's
well, somebody once called it New England traditional dance music. There's a real long term for it, but that's what this stuff is. New England traditional dance music. I always liked that title, long as it is, but it does describe what this stuff is. It's certainly New England. It sure as hell is traditional, and it's dance music. So that's the proper term for it, by my say-so anyhow, that I heard years ago.
What's the difference, what kind of a different feeling do you have when you're playing for a concert of folks just listening versus playing for dancers?
We're getting into some rough words here coming up. Well, speaking for Old New England, which I'm a member of, and these guys, of course, this is the Sugar River Band, so I can't exactly speak for them, but I can sure as heck speak for me. When I play, I have more fun with the rehearsals playing with my band, with Janie and Deanna. When we're playing together, the rehearsing for the thing is the blast. I love doing that. But when you get on stage and you're trying to be absolutely perfect, and you've got 50, 100 people out there listening, big ears, and then you do something stupid, which is what I've been known to do, why, this is bad news, see? And you're on the nerve part is you're on your nerve. And you're afraid you're going to make a boo-boo. And oh God, you've practiced maybe, but still in all, there's a chance to make a mistake. And when you're on a concert scene, why, this is tough stuff. You can't really make a mistake. It's supposed to be error-free. At a dance, you can go ahead and make a mistake because they're out there dancing, they're having a good time. And they're not particularly listening. If I make a bum chord on the piano or something, or whatever it happens, goes awry, why, it's not noticeable because they're having fun out. They're not paying that much attention to what the music's going on. They got the music which they like, and they live the beat, and they're having fun dancing. They listen to the caller. There's two joys, well, there's probably more than that, but there's two joys in this whole thing for me, which is the beautiful music that they're playing, what they're doing with the tune, their harmonies. It's gorgeous stuff what they do. And then the fact that, well, then I'll look out on the floor and watch all those people out there dancing, and they're having a blast. And I know a lot of them out there, and I'm watching them having a happy time. And so for me, this is important. These are the two big deals for me about the music. When you play a medley at a dance, well, in the old days, Ralph's band, they would play a tune all through a given dance. That is to say, the particular Money Musk, you played Money Musk all the way through that particular dance. Hull's Victory, you played Hull's Victory all the way through, 12 times or whatever it was. So, but nowadays, they varies. within 2 weeks, I played with a wonderful fiddler, Lissa Schneckenberger. I played with her, and she would use 2 tunes to a medley. So you play one tune maybe 6 times, and then the other tune 6 times. And then our band, we do maybe 5, whatever the heck it is. Huh? Well, the point I'm making is that you get to play the same thing over and whack, 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 over and over again, and this lets you learn how to play the thing. If you got a problem with it, you probably solve it by the time you've played it 4 or 5 times. Listen to her play, and she'll make a little error somewhere. She'll miss a chord. But you give her the second time through, and surely by the 3rd time through, she's caught that thing, and that absolutely delights me, because she's listening all the time, and this wonderful squash up here is doing wonderful stuff, don't you know? That's what my father used to call my head. And so anyhow, you get it. She'll get the thing and get it right before it's all over with. Well, that's what playing for a dance will do for you, because you have a chance to repeat, and pretty soon you get the thing so it'll play. That's it.
And now I know with you went into the service for a while.
Yeah, twice.
Can you tell me a little bit about when you went into the service?
Okay, January '43, I went into for World War II, and out in '46, and that was out in the Marines, out in the Pacific. And then I was out 5 years, and I was a flounderer. I had nothing. I had no skills. I had a wife and a kid, cute little boy, and I had nothing to give. I was trying to find something that I could do and make a decent living at, and I was not successful at it. And so after 5 years of floundering around, 15 different jobs in 5 years, I'm laying there and I'm thinking, you did pretty well. You got along well in the Marine Corps, World War II. Why don't you go back in? So that's exactly what I did. And I didn't make it my family happy. My mom, my dad, and my wife, they were not happy with me. But my in-laws too, my family. That isn't why I went back in. I just wasn't making a go of it. I wasn't successful in anything I did. It wasn't working well for me. So I went back into the Marines because I thought this is what I could do before I got along. Well, lo and behold, I got to where I was told, I got some stripes, I got rank. And so they said, okay, you got stripes, now you're a corporal, you got to start teaching on Saturday mornings. And I'd never taught before, and they said, here is what you're going to teach. And I said, okay, what do I do? And they steered me along, where the sergeant said, okay, here's how you teach. He says, first you tell them what you're going to tell them, then you tell them what you told them. And I listened to that. I said, my God, if that isn't... So anyway, roughly speaking, that's about what I did. And I had some of the kids come up to me I can still remember this one boy came up to me after a lesson, and he said, sir, Corporal, he says, that's the first time I ever understood about the M1 rifle. And I thought, holy smoke, I think that's what I said. And and so anyways, that was an impeller. That got me going. And so from that point on, I got to where I could teach. When I wound up overseas, my company commander even had me teaching others how to teach. It really did happen. So then I got out of the service, so lo and behold, I wound up in Key Teachers College. Then I got to teaching, and I went to teach in Peterborough High School. I was teaching electricity and some other stuff, but particularly in mechanical drawing. But particularly the electricity was what hooked them, because electricity was the technical stuff of the day in that period of time, in '59.
I'm wondering if you could sort of comment about how it feels to be teaching these young folks.
I love it. It's 4 of them. I've had 4 apprentices. I started with Francis. Then I went to Connor Sleeth, Mary DeRozier's kid. Yeah, Finn was next, and then Sofa. So those are the 4 I've had from the Arts Council apprentices. But I'm broadening my horizons. I now got 2 more here, and there's another little girl that I'm working with down my way from New Ipswich, who's doing very, very, very well. Head of this morning, she's awesome, cute kid. And then I got another little one that I'm teaching the accordion to, which I'm not particularly good at that, but she's doing real good. and they hear and they listen and they do what I tell them. And it is so damn cool for me to be a part of that happy stuff. And I love passing it on. I really do. And it's Johnny Trombley's impetus that makes it all happen. Plus the fact that I'm a teacher. That's what I do. I'm a teacher.